So you're a therapist and you're looking to grow your online private practice, or maybe you're looking to transition your in-person private practice online, or simply adding it to more of a hybrid model. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. My name is Yuri Elkaim. I'm the CEO and founder of Healthpreneur, the world's longest standing, largest company helping therapists and health practitioners grow successful businesses online. So if you want to impact more lives, you want to make a lot more money without relying on insurance, and you want to live a much better quality of life, this is going to be for you. So sit tight. You want to grab a pen and paper. You're going to want to jot down some notes. I'm going to walk you through a few things on the iPad to give you a level of understanding of business in general that will probably be more valuable than pretty much any other video you've seen up until this point. I know it's a big claim, but you can let me know in the comments afterwards. So first and foremost, one of the biggest mistakes that most therapists make is that they tend to work with everyone. And this is actually a very common issue that health practitioners in general make. Is they're generalists. And just because you can help everyone doesn't mean you should. So the first thing that we have to understand when we are building any kind of business, especially as a service provider, is we need to specialize. We need to narrow down to a single target market. And one of the ways I look at this is I call these the 4 ones. So we want one single, that's pretty much the same word, one single target market. So I help people with anxiety or with childhood trauma or who are sexually abused or they're, porn and sex addiction, like whatever the thing is, but you have to have a singular focus, because what this does is it helps you become a specialist. And everyone wants a specialist. No one wants a generalist. Like if you got a toothache, you'd go to the dentist, not your general practitioner. If you had a roof leak, you would probably call a roofer, not a general contractor. So you have to understand that you're probably looking for a specialist, but so too are your prospective clients. So one single target market. The next thing is we want one offer. When I say offer, unless you love trading time for money and billing hour, for dollars, you can only take that so far. And here's why this is important. When you do that, and this is your time, okay, you will run into, let's say you work 10 hours a day, and that's the most you can do before you're physically exhausted. What happens here is you run into a ceiling, which is the amount of time you can put in, and here is revenue and impacts. So above this, you can't make any more money and you can't help any more people. You end up creating a waiting list that is not helpful for anyone. And it's a nice little badge of honor to say I've got a 3-month waiting list. But quite honestly, it's called a suffering list. People are still they're going to be waiting to get help and they're probably going to go somewhere else. So I call this the capacity ceiling. And the only way to get around this is to move away from trading time for money. You have to dissociate your expertise and your time from the client's results, right? And so what we want to think about is how do we build out a curriculum where we have everyone on the same train, on the same track, going to the same destination. On top of that, we layer in community, if you can even read that. And on top of that, we layer in coaching. So it kind of looks like a wedding cake. So we offer what we help our clients with is instead of trying to help everyone and billing $100 an hour, $350 an hour, whatever it is, you sell an outcome. You sell an outcome for I will help you get off, drugs, whatever it is. It's 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, it's X number of dollars, and it has nothing to do with the number of sessions you spend with that prospect or that client. And if you're not sure how this all works, it's all good, right? We deal with this every single day. This is why we're the best in the business at doing this. We help thousands of clients do this to help them go from models that completely are dependent upon their time. Excuse me, I just almost lost my voice. They're dependent upon their time, and therefore you have no life. Right? Because what happens in this case is like when you're in a time for money model, when you work, you make money. But when you don't work, like you go on vacation or you get sick, you don't make any money. And so that's not a business, that's a job. And so that's not scalable. And if it's not scalable, it's not sustainable. And if it's not sustainable, then you can never be free. If you want to be free, then you have to build the right systems, assets, and skills that will help you do so. So part of that, in terms of assets, is having one core offer. One core offer. I help this outcome or I help this problem. It's this number, this length of time, and here's the outcome we're after. And all of your marketing business is focused on that. But Yuri, aren't I going to alienate a lot of people? Of course. Were you going to help everyone anyways? No, there's 8 billion people on the planet. You're not going to help everyone. Get over it, right? It's all good. You move on. You focus on becoming the specialist. The highest paid practitioners on the planet are specialists. The brain surgeons, the neurosurgeons, the people who like they're the specialists that very few other people, like others, can do what they do, right? And that's why they're paid the most. And that's why they're the most highly sought after. So we have one offer that you're a specialist in. Above that, we look at one acquisition channel. This is another major mistake I see a lot of practitioners make, is they're like, well, I'm going to be on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Oh, I saw Gary Vee talks about I have to be everywhere all the time, posting everywhere. 100%. Gary Vee is amazing, but it doesn't mean you have to do that stuff, right? You're busy as it is. You don't have all day to waste creating content and hopefully people will find you. It took me 7 years to make my first $1 million, my first health business that I started back in 2005. It took me 7 years doing that stuff to make my first $1 million. When I started Healthpreneur back in 2017, we got to $1 million in 7 weeks by focusing on one acquisition channel we call a perfect client pipeline. I have other videos on this channel that go deeper into this. And if you want to kind of go through the whole masterclass on how it works, there's probably a link below. But essentially here we're using ads on social media because the reality is no one sees anything you post. Obscurity is the biggest danger you're facing. So advertising guarantees visibility. From those ads, we invite people to watch an online masterclass, which is essentially like giving a TEDx talk 24/7 to hundreds of people without actually being there. You record it once, it does all the heavy lifting for you. From there, the right people are going to be interested in potentially working with you, so they're going to fill out an application and book in a time on your calendar. But notice how they're only doing that after they've jumped through 2 steps previous to that. You're busy as it is. You don't want to be talking with everyone. You don't want to be talking with tire kickers who don't actually want to solve their problems. And then finally, you have a call. So these 4 steps are what we call a perfect client pipeline, and this is exactly how we've built our business to multiple 8 figures, and it's exactly how we've helped thousands of clients generate more than $217 million in their businesses while helping hundreds of thousands of people to better health. This is the one acquisition channel/system we recommend if you're an experienced practitioner. If you have no experience working with paying clients, if you've never helped anyone, don't do this. You will lose your shirt if you're running ads, you have no experience, people are not going to trust you, etc. But if you're watching this and you're amazing at what you do, you've been at this for years, you have a huge track record of success with your clients, then this is the single fastest and most proven way to get clients and grow your business, your private practice online. And I share this because I've done everything you can think of. I've been online for the past 20 years, and every single business model you're considering, I have done, much of it successfully, and I've made many, many mistakes along the way. So when I share this as like the one thing I'd recommend with that context, there's a reason. And again, it doesn't matter to me if you install this in your business, but I'm just trying to help you out, move a little bit faster. And then finally is we want to get to at least $1 million before considering doing anything different. What I love about this is we call this the focus 4. And focus is the most important thing you have to keep top of mind. Every 3rd or 4th post you see online is another tactic, app, widget, whatever. Bold promises, don't have to do the work, whatever. It's massively distracting. And what I can share with you is that all of it can work, but none of it's going to work if you try to do it all at the same time. So the focus 4 is really about the power of 4 ones. Single target market, one offer, one acquisition channel to $1 million. Do not do anything else in your business until you've reached $1 million. Because everything up until that point is figuring things out. It's figuring out product to market fit. It's figuring out your offer. Do people really want this? I'll tell you as an example. Most people, and again, not warm referrals from friends and family, but when you proactively market your business, because that's something you have to do if you want to build a business online, because once again, no one knows you exist. So when you proactively market your business, it is much harder to sell anxiety solutions than it is panic attacks. Why is that? Because anxiety, everyone and their mom has anxiety these days. Panic attacks, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more severe. And so we have a spectrum, we call this the profitable problem matrix. The first thing we want to do is identify what's the problem that people are dealing with that's severe and persistent. And we want to go after that problem. Now, assuming you've got expertise there. And yes, pretty much every problem you can think of is going to have a very saturated market. There's a lot of other therapists and practitioners who might do similar work. But that's okay because people choose coaches, not just coaching. They choose therapists, not therapy. So by you being you and having a little bit of a differentiated system, if you don't know what that is, then obviously we'll save that for a later date. You start to stand out from everyone else. And so when you focus on these 4 things, and that's it, you're able to harness all of your energy and channel all that energy into one area as opposed to being split across multiple different things. If you have a main coaching program or a main service offering, but you're like, you know what, a lot of people can't afford it, I'm going to offer something lower end that people can just buy on their own, you've just doubled the complexity of your business. Now you have to worry about the messaging around both. You got to like improve and optimize both. You have to deal with headaches or opportunities from both. It's not worth it. So when I say to $1 million, I'm like literally saying, if you can get to $1 million, which you can, with any given target market / problem you want to specialize in, don't do anything else but that one thing. And if people cannot afford to work with you at a higher level, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, like we have clients that are charging $10,000, even $50,000 for health-related outcomes. If people can't afford to work with you at those levels, it's not your job to serve everyone. It's a choice. So by offering multiple offers, multiple areas of service, you simply dilute your energy, your focus, and you take on people who don't fundamentally want to change. There's a very big difference between someone who's going to buy one session with you versus working with you for a year to solve a specific problem. And if we were working together, my first piece of advice would be like, cool, who's your single target market? What's the problem we're solving? Cool. What's different about you? What's unique about the way you do things? Let's build an offer around that. We build the pipeline on the back end of that. And all we do is we focus on that. We dial everything in until you reach $1 million. And then guess what? You reach $1 million and you can keep scaling that. You don't need to add more stuff. So this is kind of the pathway that is really important to understand from a conceptual perspective if you want to succeed online specifically. Now, when it comes to the journey, there are 3 main phases that I look at in business. So if you are starting a new business online, so when I say new business, I mean you have a private practice, you've seen people in person, cool, but now you're wanting to add a virtual component or you want to be fully remote, I consider that a new business. Why? Because there are new systems, there are new skills, and there are new assets you have to build and learn and put in place. And so when I say that, I share that because the first phase in any business is the foundation. The reason most businesses don't succeed in the first place is that they're built on a foundation of sand. It's like building a house on sand. You can have all the coolest furnishings, pretty websites, nice office chairs, but if it's built on sand, it's only a matter of time before that thing crumbles. And this is why so many businesses, so many health businesses have a tough time surviving, especially when they want to scale beyond word of mouth. So I'm not talking about, just to be very clear about this, word of mouth and referrals are amazing, but it's not a business. It's, I hope people fall in my lap, and when they do, I'm going to work with them one-on-one. And if you're not sure what this looks like alternative to that, then that's cool. That's why you're here, and that's why I'm walking you through all this stuff. So first and foremost, when we're looking at the foundation, we're looking most importantly at a foundation of marketing and sales. You have to get good at self-promotion. There is no way around this. There's no, I'm going to outsource this to someone else, to an agency. They're not going to do a good job. If they don't know you, they don't know your messaging, they don't know your perfect clients, they don't know your philosophy. And yes, you can certainly train people on that over time. But unless you build these skills, you will always be at the mercy of other people. And you have no control over your future if that's the case. If you're saying, but Yuri, I'm a therapist, I'm a practitioner, I don't want to, learn this stuff. Cool. I mean, why are you watching this video? Because the reality is you can be a technician or you can be a business owner. The technician is working in the business all the time and living this reality and living this reality. When you don't work, you don't make any money. So again, I don't care if you do any of this stuff. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't change my life. It could change yours in a very significant way. I have no vested interest in you doing any of this stuff. I'm just trying to put out what I've seen over 20 years in business to be proven principles. So marketing and sales are vitally important. And the reason I suggest focusing on marketing and sales is because you're good enough as a therapist as it is. You don't need to become a better therapist to help people. You're already doing that. It doesn't matter if you're coming online or doing it from the corner of a street. You're good enough on the delivery to do what it is you do, but no one knows you exist, so we have to get visible. And the way we become visible is by learning how to market ourselves, and not in a way that, like, again, if you have a connotation on marketing and sales as sleazy and slimy, that doesn't have to be true, right? It just like most people don't like what they're not good at. So if you're not good at it, you might have a negative connotation. Once you recognize that marketing is simply sharing your message on steroids, that's it. Like if you don't want to market, like if you don't want to do any of this stuff, what do you ultimately want to do? I want to work with patients or clients, and then eventually I just want to speak and I want to write books and I want to speak from stage and I want to share this on podcasts. That's marketing. That's marketing, okay? Advertising is marketing. This is marketing. Being on radio is marketing. Being on a podcast is marketing. Every single time you speak words out of your mouth, you are marketing. You're selling. You're either selling to people who don't know who you are, or you're selling to clients. For a client to adopt your philosophy, you're selling to them. Now, probably in the form of questions. But nonetheless, you're selling something. You're selling an idea, philosophy to yourself all the time. That's the foundation. You don't get to stage 2 without that. Stage 2 is acceleration. Acceleration is where you have some traction, like you've actually built out a bit of a system on the marketing and sales front, like our perfect client pipeline. So I'll just put that into there. And you might throw some more money behind your ads. You have a couple winners, you're spending $25, $50 a day, you're getting calls booked, you're enrolling clients, for every dollar you're spending, you're making 5 or 10, you're like, oh my God, let's throw some gasoline into the fire. And so you get into the acceleration phase. Now, what's interesting about the acceleration phase is that you start actually getting busy. This is the thing, I want you to understand this, is in this acceleration phase, you're getting busy enrolling clients. You're going to be taking on discovery calls, making sure people are fit to work with you. You're going to be working with people on the back end. And again, if you're not building out a coaching program, like that offer we talked about, you're going to be extremely busy. And you're not going to want to grow your business because you're going to be moving into pain. Every single time you enroll a client, you're like, shit, that's 4 more hours out of my month gone, right? Now I've got to spend more time with these people. You're not going to grow your business if you're moving people into one-on-one all the time. So you need a container that allows you to work with many people at the same time. We call that a dream come true system. That's what I mapped out here. And it allows you to work with 10, 20, 50, 100 people at the same time. And here's the kicker. They get better results. No, that's not possible, Yuri. How is it possible they could get better results in a group than with my amazing magical fairy dust in a one-on-one session? Again, I'm just asking you to be open-minded. Again, doesn't matter to me if you do any of this stuff. If you love the one-on-one, if you're so committed to the fact that people are going to get better results with you one-on-one, keep doing it. But I want you to understand this. Right now, there are thousands of your colleagues who have moved from one-on-one to group coaching that are producing incredible results for their clients. So where people have a bit of a mindset issue around this is like, oh, you're just all about the money. Of course I'm about money. Like you should be about money too. But because money is only a byproduct of you helping someone, you only get paid in the service of other people, not at their expense. So there's nothing wrong with you wanting to make $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month. If you want to buy a second condo across the world, you should have all of that because the work you're doing is transformational in nature. And here, if you are busy, it's a season, okay? It's a season of busy where you are making way more money because you're taking on more calls, you're taking on more clients, you're charging whatever, $2,000 to $5,000 for a specific program, and it feels like a lot, and it is, but that's okay because you're building the reservoir of cash, and that's going to allow us to escape the acceleration phase into the scale phase. And the scale phase is really where you start to build a significant business. So think of the first 2 phases as you doing most of this stuff, right? And typically it's from like 0 to 30,000 a month. When you get to that point in a service-based business like ours, Then at some point, you're going to need to build an actual ecosystem around you. And that could be people, like team, other coaches or therapists on the back end, client success manager, assistant, maybe some other sales reps to do some of your calls. And this is where scale happens. And scale generally is above, I'd say, $30K a month in our experience. And this is where you start to build something out beyond you. And this is where you start to really build out your ecosystem, where you continue to focus on the fundamentals for sure, but now you have more clients coming in, you can retain more people, so you're not always having to churn people in and churn people out. And this becomes about building the business, the brand, and no longer just about getting people in and paying you money. So these are the 3 phases to growing a business. And what we help our clients do is we help them go from foundation all the way through scale. So as an example, one of our clients, Rochelle, is a mental health therapist, and she came to us in the foundation zone, okay? And obviously we helped her build everything out, we helped her accelerate, and now she does about $90,000 a month. And that was about a year and a half, 2 years process. And she still has a tough time wrapping her head around this. Like, how is this even possible? She has 3 people on her team, I believe, 2 coaches and 1 assistant to help with the delivery, to provide an amazing experience for her clients. And she's able to provide better outcomes for her clients than she was when she was burnt out in one-on-one. Another one of our clients, Russell, who specializes in sex and porn addiction, was a clinic director. And in his previous life, before working in this capacity online, and he had a waiting list. He saw the outcomes, the patients were getting were mediocre. And when he moved from that model to more of a group-based coaching program online, his revenue has superseded, I believe on average, he does about $40K a month. He works 4 days a week. His clients work in a group. Yes, men with porn and sex addiction. You'd think there's no way. How's that even possible? Yeah, dozens upon dozens of men at the same time supporting each other, and obviously Russell's curriculum and his coaching, but they get better results. And that's the key thing here. I want you to please understand this. It's not about, I don't care about people, therefore I'm going to put them in a group. It's not that. It's understanding that isolation kills and community heals. You will always get better results in a community because you become the reflection of your peer group. And if you're in a community, and if your clients are in a community of like-minded individuals moving toward the same destination, that's very rare. Very few people in their life are on that same track. So you're creating a container for your clients to find their tribe, to find other people just like them who are not going to be victims for the rest of their life, but who are proactively doing something to a better future. That's an incredible, incredible community to be a part of. And you facilitate that. Another one of our clients, Molly, she had this mind, so she's an amazing psychotherapist. And she works a lot with boundaries. And she was stuck forever in that like 5 to 10K range. And she had this mental block. There's like no way I can grow this beyond me. Obviously, with our help, she grew it to 30K per month. And I use these numbers just as like, milestones. But then she got to 30K a month. And then she had another mental block. She's like, man, I can't see this business going beyond 30K per month. And that's obviously where we worked with her a lot on the scale phase. We worked with her mindset. We showed how the delivery could be a little bit more impactful, less demanding on her, and started having some really just like small shifts in her thinking. Within like 1 to 2 months of some of those conversations, she hit $54,000 per month. She feels better than ever. She travels more. She spends less time one-on-one with her clients because, in her own words, she felt like they were sucking at the teats. They were like plugged into her. But now with this group model, she's able to impact so many more lives, and she's empowering her clients as opposed to them relying on her for every single thing. So this is how you build out an online private practice. And again, it starts by understanding that we have to focus on a single target market with a single problem. We build out one core offer that solves that. We build out one acquisition system to bring those people in. And we focus on that until we're at least at $1 million, right? And so that's the foundation, acceleration, and scale journey in this process. Because if we don't do this, and you decide to help everyone, and you continue to trade time for money, then you will always have a capacity ceiling. You will always be capped at the revenue you're making. Even if it's a lot, you don't have any time. And also, if you do want to take a vacation, here's what happens. You make money when you're working, you don't make money when you're not. So if this has resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the channel. I've got hundreds of other videos to help you build a thriving online coaching business. Marketing, sales, mindset, the whole bit. And if you're amazing at what you do and you want better systems, assets, and skills to help you amplify your impact and live a better quality of life in the process, this is the place. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you how my clients have made more than $217 million in their health coaching businesses. I'm going to share 5 key lessons that have helped them do so. You're going to want to grab a pen, jot down some notes.